Hello, hello. Hi, how are you? Okay, so let's get real here. And I don't know why I'm documenting this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it is almost midnight and I was enjoying my nice Epsom salt bath. And I have been reading this book called The Viking Spirit. And the reason why I've been doing that is because I have just felt so called to learn about the call from my ancestors. And there are many of us who are being called to look at, to experience, and to just understand where our ancestors came from and what they experienced and where our whole society rooted from. And as I was reading this, they were just talking about all kinds of fights and of wars and brutal killings. And in this one, there's this boy who goes to war and he's fighting to gain the nobility of the king and to gain these treasures. And as he watches men die, he realizes, he questions, is this what I should be doing? But then he gets swept up in the rage of what everyone else is saying and experiencing and putting forth, that he just kind of goes with it. And I don't know, as I was reading it, I just wanted to have a nice night of relaxation. And I started to reflect upon this, and I just felt the clouds break away, and I felt the ancestors speak. And they spoke directly to my soul. And today is a hard day for many people, both ways. You know, there's been a lot of stuff coming out with new laws and regulations and stipulations about babies, about abortion, about pro-life, whatever it is. And there's been so much energy in the world today. And it's so sad in both aspects, because there are so many who are fighting for the rights, who feel like this is justified, absolutely. And then there are those who also feel like they're justified and that they're right. And to both extents, there is good sides within both. And I just feel like going back into the story of, I just had this channeling of information just open up from the ancestors. And so I just wanted to record this to document and to open that space back up, because I just feel like it's so profound and it's so needed right now. Ancestors in the past, open my mouth and allow me to share whatever it is that you would like. It feels like, so I'm just gonna tell you what I'm experiencing. I'm going into this circle, this grove that I go into for channeling sometimes. And I'm just gonna sit with those who want to come forward to just speak and to share whatever it is. There is so much separation. And there was separation long time before we were here. And this whole human experience is about separation, is what it's been in the past. And there are many who are opening up to this space of remembering that there is more, remembering that we are more. But it can be easy to get swept into the separation. Light, dark, happy, sad, joy, depression, anxiety, self-doubt. We tend to blend all of those into one negative concept when there is good in both sides. When we are depressed, it can be a catalyst for growth. When we are happy, we can help others feel happy. There is a shadow in everything that we do. Our strengths are our weaknesses and our weaknesses are our strengths. There is good and bad in all, and not even bad or good, because that's putting labels on what doesn't need to have labels. It doesn't need to define us. There is a higher and a lower vibration, but both vibrations are necessary for this human soul's experience. And we've seen that time and time again when it comes to the past of people fighting, taking over land, religions coming forward, pushing other people out, forcing people to believe in certain things. And then they would physically show that forth in other people, hurting people, killing people, slaughtering people, taking over land. And even today, still going on. Social media, name blaming, making someone wrong for their personal beliefs. And yet everyone has their personal beliefs because of experiences that they have had. Because their truth or what their lived experience has been has led them to have that journey. And so instead of solely focusing on it needs to be one way or another, if we could come together into the middle and pull up and to see both sides, and not even when it comes to religion, or when it comes to what's going on in the world, just in general, when we can pull back and to feel and to see the beauty and the high vibration in both ways, that shows that we are in this space of growth. And in order for us to have the changes that we are seeking, in order for us to feel connected, and I feel like we have the galactic family also coming in here, is in order for us to evolve into the space of true manifestation, of learning more about ancestral healing and connection, and bringing things into existence, and the metaphysical combining with the world here. All of these things are one. And yet if we're at too low of a frequency, we cannot have the access to it. And we're being called to shift our energy up. And I feel so strong of Pleiadians, who are these fluorescent light beings with big, big, big eyes, blue eyes. And I just see them coming forward and saying that they want to help us grow. They want to help us push forward. But it's time for us to evolve. And the space of growth, the space of stepping up, really comes when we can take a step back and stop over-identifying with anything. Because it puts such density if we put too much emphasis on that, because we are so much more than this. I might be here, Jenny, in this physical body, but if we were to zoom all the way in, my spirit, the particles of my being, are light. And before we come here, we're beings of light. When we're here, we're beings of light in this physical body, in this construction. And when we leave, we're back into that being of light. And so when we can take a step back and see the beauty that lies within the light and the dark, the good and the bad, one direction or another direction, we can find the core principle of why we are here. And yes, that doesn't mean that someone's opinion or someone's lived experience is bad or wrong. But when we label it or have that become offensive to us, like how dare that person feel that way or think that way or be that way, it puts this density in our space. And then we're all vibing at this lower density space when we really want, and what we're being called to, the whole purpose of the Aquarian age, the whole purpose of 2020 really has shifted this new perspective for many. When you're stuck in the fear of death, when you're looking at death in its face, it shows you, have I lived my life? And what am I doing to live my life? And what am I doing to not live my life that I want to be doing? And so many have opened up to this new space. What do I believe? What do I not believe? How do I feel? What kind of job do I want? There's been huge leaps and bounds and changes. And yet it all stems from somewhere. But we're being called collectively to hold sacred space for those mourning, to hold love and to hold light for humanity. There is so much more than what we're experiencing. And what we're experiencing is valid. It's not taking that away 100%. What we experience is valid, but there's more. And it's time for us to remember that. Learn from the mistakes of our ancestors. Call upon our higher light beings, God, our archangels, our galactic family, our ascended masters, teachers of deep light wisdom to help heal our hearts. Because our hearts get so bitter here. We have to protect ourselves from the worry of man. It's all bullshit. And yet it's real. It's validated. But it should not have to define us any longer. We are supported and we are loved. And in order for us to welcome in this whole new space, this whole new existence of life, because those who are coming, children who are coming, are so aware. They're so connected. They're so open. Oof. That it's time for us to pave the way for them. But that starts individually, finding love and compassion in the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine, the quote unquote good and the bad, the right and the left, the right way, the wrong way, the eternal salvation, non-eternal salvation, the believers, the non-believers. It's time to pull back, to see the beauty on both sides, to stop over-identifying with things. Because there's so much more. We're so much more. There's so much to experience. And yet our lived experiences are valuable. And what lessons can we learn from those lived experiences? How can we sit and listen to someone else's live experience and not make them wrong, but to find compassion and love and beauty that holds in that space? Because when we do, we're raising the frequency of energy around us. We're accessing and tapping into the powers of heaven, the powers of the universe, this higher Christ consciousness, this God consciousness, this great creator energy vortex. And the greatest love and the greatest miracles happen through that divine love. That's beautiful. I feel like we'll end with that today. Anything else? We're just so supported. I think it's their way of saying, that's enough, we're done. Anyways, I thought I would just share this experience. Real, raw, my house is a mess. It's freaking 12 o'clock at night. I was in the bath and this information came in. So here it is. Take what you feel. And if you don't like it, that's okay too. You don't have to like it. That's what life is about. Finding the beauty in all things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessings.